Alright, what's up? This is Beer, Bands, and Beyond.
What's up, dipshits, ding-dongs, and motherfuckers alike? It's Beer, Bands, and Beyond, the first official podcast of the paranormal, talking to musicians about nothing about music, but about the paranormal, cryptids, aliens, conspiracy theories, whatever you fucking name it. Shit that musicians love to talk about, but never get asked about. Motherfuckers, this is the first episode. Welcome. I'm Sick Nick Cox. That's Ronald McFarland, also known as Ronnie Ramone. You might know him from the Big Gaping Holes, UFOMG, my band, the Boneyard Mafia, Algar, and you may know me from Boneyard Mafia as well, the Dirty Swagger, Wrong Brothers, and we're here to talk about weird shit. Tell them about it, Ronnie.
We're here to talk about all kinds of weird shit. But,
We're here tonight. We're drinking beer. We're having a good time. We're going to talk about fucking, I think ghosts tonight, right?
It's going to be a little bit of everything.
Like our personal experiences of, like, what made us want to do the show in the first place. You're at the first inaugural fucking episode tonight, which means you've logged off of Pornhub, you've stopped jerking off. It means that you're on that pre-nut down spiral into the unknown, and we're going to share our stories tonight. I haven't really had too much weird shit happen to me. I've had a few ghost things happen, and
I've had a lot of weird shits.
Yeah, I've had a lot of weird shits. I've had a lot of weird farts and all kinds of shit. I've had shits that were weird, if that makes sense. But anyway, we're drinking weird German beer tonight, and we've started off the right way.
I'm not sure mine's German. Mine says Bushish.
Bushish.
Light.
Bushish light. Anyway, okay, well, I'm kind of like more of like a skeptic when it comes to this bullshit. I haven't had too much weird shit happen, in my lifetime, being king of the sewer, but I can share the weird shit that's happened. I've had a few ghost things happen, or things at least I can't explain. I've seen a UFO, and as weird as it fucking seems, I've seen a hot damn, nice one, dude. Oh, fucking werewolf. I farted. I don't know if I got on the fucking podcast.
They'll smell it later.
Yeah, you can't smell it though. So,
smell-o-vision.
Yeah. Eventually the technology will catch up to my butthole. But anyway, I guess one of the stories I have to share is there's this place in Alabama. It's called Bolige, and Bolige is like maybe 2 hours away from Tuscaloosa. And my family, we owned actually my great grandfather, and it's fucking old school shit. Cause my dad's 80, so we're talking like probably like late 1800s, 1900, early turn of the century type shit. And I guess one of the weird things that happened to me is we was at this Bolige Hotel, and if you could imagine, if you will, like a mixture of like the Addams Family house with like the Fight Club house, without like the sexiness of like Brad Pitt. Like, it's the shittiest. It's like 3 stories of shit. And anyway, like, it was
3 stories
like
of weird shit.
3 stories of weird fucking shit that I'd like to explain, but I'm not really sure if I can. Basically, like, this is the weirdest fucking place on the face of the planet. And my dad, he hung out with a bunch of diehard, like, biker dudes. Like, from, like, 1% biker groups from, like, Florida. And they would show up, and they wouldn't even go in the fucking house. They were so scared. I'm talking like dudes that spent like 40 years, 50 years in the clinker for like murder. These dudes were like diehard dudes. They wouldn't even go in this fucking place. And I guess like the story that I would like share that happened to me was like, okay, we would be in this fucking place, and like all kinds of weird shit would like turn on, turn off, like all kinds of shit. I guess the best way to tell this story is the first thing that happened was we would cut the power off of the entire house when it wasn't hunting season. We would use this house as like a hunting house. And so what we would do is we'd cut the power off during non-hunting season so we wouldn't have to pay the fucking power bill. So we would go up there and we would have to maintain this land and, bush hog all this fucking shit. So we went up there one time. This was like in probably June, July, something like that. It was hot as shit. And we got there at night, and like I said, we'd cut the power off from the power company. There was no power in this house. And we got there one night, and we were going to just spend the night in the house. And we rolled up in the driveway, and the lights were on in this motherfucking place. Like, it was, the whole upper story was lit up. So of course my dad, being the type of dude that he is, he thinks a bunch of meth heads that broke in, and we grab our guns. We go in the house. We think a bunch of people maybe, running a meth lab or a hookery or whorehousery, if you will, out of this fucking place. And so we circle strife the whole fucking house, thinking some dudes would run some generators or shit like that. And we get up to the upper floor where the lights were on. The lights are off. I swear to God, the lights were on. And when we get up there, the lights are off. So how the fuck did that happen? And like, probably point of notice, like the whole town is like superstitious as fuck. I mean, it was weird as shit. And then the second thing that happened was, now keep in mind, there was these two big ass oak doors that was in the front, and they would open up like fucking, and it was awful. It was loud as fuck, and you could hear it. It was these two big oak doors. If you're thinking the Addams Family house, or at like the beginning of like Tales from the Crypt in the theme song, you're on the right fucking path. So we heard this shit at night, and my dad had some of his biker friends coming over the next morning. And he's just like, yeah, just, roll through, knock on the door. We'll, cook breakfast. I'm drinking beer. Okay. We'll drink breakfast and eat fucking eggs. We'll eat eggs, and we'll drink eggs and drink hash browns. Anyway, we're making breakfast. That's the point of the story. Knock on the door. We're going to make breakfast and go hunting. Okay. Well, point of interest is that there was this huge deadbolt on the front of the fucking house that was about the size of your fucking forearm. And it would go, whoom, and you would hear it shut at the end of the night. Well, we locked this motherfucker, and at night, at the dead of the night, we hear like a boom, like dude, it sounded like somebody kicked a hole in the fucking wall trying to get in. So my dad, thinking it's a meth head, hops up with it. We all got our guns. It was just me and him, and we're circle strifing the whole house, thinking somebody broke in the house. We didn't see shit. We didn't see a fucking thing. So we go back to bed, thinking it was maybe just the wind or something. Well, we got up the next morning, and some of my dad's biker buddies was in the kitchen making breakfast. And my dad, he goes, "How the fuck you assholes get in here?" And he goes, "Well, the doors were wide open. We thought y'all was awake." Well, we walked to the front door. That big-ass deadbolt that's the size of your fucking forearm was knocked off the fucking front of the door. Dude, that was strike one for me. Okay. Later on, we noticed there was this black cat. There was a well in the background. It's an old plantation house. Back in the days, it was a plantation. It was a whorehouse. It was a gambling place. Basically all your shittery shit.
Any building in Alabama over 100 years old has been a whorehouse.
It's been a whorehouse at some point.
That's just the law.
That's just the law of the history of the whole shit. And anyway, like we would notice these black cats would go behind this well. And then on the other side, there would be like crows fly out the other side. Okay, well, we thought that was just a coincidence. It was a coinky dinky. And we would go out behind the well, and we wouldn't see any black cats, we wouldn't see any crows or whatever. And I did some research on it, and it turns out there's like shape-shifting demons and all this kind of stuff. That was strike two. And my mom has an experience with that shit too. She swears that when she was pregnant with old sick dick over here, that she saw some old dudes with like a beard, and it was like this little kid, and she said, "Get the fuck out of my room," and they walked through the wall and was gone. And then the next morning she woke up with bite marks all over her, like it was like my dad thought was mosquito bites. So anyway, of course my dad, what his whole philosophy is when it comes to like the paranormal. His philosophy is, if you get drunk enough, they won't fuck with you. So that's like his whole shtick. So he'll walk in a haunted house and he'll just drink a whole gallon of Jack and he will be out. Ghosts don't fuck with him, but they fucked with my mom pretty bad. So that was another story about the shape-shifting fucking hot damn black cats or whatever. That was strike 2. Strike 3 for me was we were eating KFC. There was a KFC in town. That was like the only restaurant in town.
Finger looking good.
Finger licking good. Ghost licking dick good. And anyway, we were sitting there ghost licking dick on the chicken fingers. And
Finger fucking good.
finger fucking these ghosts. And anyway, because they're all whores, we just established they're a whorehouse. But anyway, yeah, that's what that was. That's actually why they make that noise.
That's why there's so much. That's why there's so many. Moaning and.
Yeah, so much moaning and groaning. They're fucking ghost whores. What the fuck you want? What do you want me to say? Anyway, apparently
it's a succubus.
I suck a whole bus off. But anyway, whatever these ghost whores were, they didn't like to shut doors. So we walked in. We were eating KFC in the kitchen. And like I said, this used to be a hotel, so there's like 20 rooms in the whole fucking place. Oh yeah, we were sucking that fucking hot sauce off those ghost dicks. Anyway, ghost pussy.
What's a ghost? What's it sound like when a ghost gags on your cock?
Probably ghost fart. Anyway, that was something they don't establish on Ghostbusters.
Ghost queef.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a porno called Ghost Thrusters, and it's just gonna be about guys that fuck like air. Anyway, anyway, like we heard like me and my brother were sitting at the kitchen table, and we heard like a, and we looked down the hallway and like
Pterodactyl?
Yeah, it was like it was like a door. It was like a rusty door pterodactyl. And we looked down the hallway of this fucking place, and like all the doors were open. And so of course we're trying to like, think about how, try to rationalize this shit. But like, well, maybe they were open the whole time. And so we went back to our ghost stick KFC, and we were looking down. I was balls deep in some fucking honey mustard, chicken fingering the shit out of my mouth. And anyway, then all of a sudden we heard, BAM! All the doors shut at the same fucking time. I said, hell no. And I slept in the truck that night, and I hadn't been back since. And that was the Bowlady Hotel experience for me. And like I said, I'm kind of the skeptic on the show. I'm going to be the bad cop, I feel, in a bunch of this shit.
The bad cock.
The bad cock. The bad cock experience. And the second thing that I had is Megan, the whore that I live with. We just moved in this house, and so I called the neighbors up or whatever. We're out smoking. This is back when I used to smoke meth and heroin. No, I'm just kidding. I was smoking cigarettes, and we was on the front porch, and we saw this huge triangle. It was a huge triangle in the air. There's no other way to put it. I don't know if it was a UFO or a government drone or what, but it's fucking big, and it didn't make a fucking sound. It was like a silent queef in the night. It was awesome. It was awe-inspiring, man. I'll be honest with you. It was amazing. And so I go in the house to grab a camera, and when I come back out, it's like almost already gone. And all the pictures that I made were like grainy Bigfoot type shit. And so it was basically a big ass triangle. It didn't make a sound, and like it's kind of a boring story. It disappeared behind this like stack of clouds, and like probably a minute afterwards, these two like attack helicopters come like flying over. I don't know if they were like tailing it or if they were following it, or I don't know what the deal was, but it was weird as shit, dude. And I went back in the house because I didn't want to be abducted, even though my house probably wouldn't keep me from an abduction. Probably not even from illegal aliens. You get abducted from aliens from space with a space rover. And then the third thing is, and me and Ronnie's talked like extensively about this. Actually, me and Brad Posey from Invisible City and Wrong Brothers and Boneyard Mafia fame, Electric Freak Show, all that shit. We wrote a song about it called Dog Band of Bankhead. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Bankhead, Bankhead's like a national forest in Alabama that's down south.
We are based out of. Where are we based at? We are based in Alabama. We'll just say that.
North Alabama. So this is South Alabama. This is not talking about like our types of dudes. This is like South Alabama. Now, South Alabama, down in the Bankhead region, is known
These
for
are not
like
our dog man.
yeah, exactly. It's not our dog man.
Not your dog man, our dog man.
Our dog man. We're very regionally based. Roll Tide. Anyway, or War Eagle. I don't know.
Southern dog man goes War Eagle or I don't know.
It goes Volunteer, Tennessee. But anyway, it goes Seminoles. Fucking rule. Anyway,
Semen holes.
semen holes, Florida semen holes. But anyway, these okay. We were down in Bankhead, and we used to go to Bankhead before. Now a little bit of backstory. All my friends when I was in high school, we were like I always had older friends. So when they started graduating out of high school, they would they went to Alabama, University of Alabama, not the state of Alabama, the University of Alabama, and which I guess is in the state of Alabama. But so both actually. And they would invite us down to parties. So, of course, I had a mohawk and, I was like balls deep in the punk rock scene at the time. And all these like sorority chicks would fucking love me, dude. They would be like, oh, I saw hair like yours on like a documentary. Didn't Crocodile Dundee throw a fucking Bowie knife through like a guy that had hair like you's hair, in that one movie? And like I felt like a documentary piece. And anyway, I got so much pussy.
It was a cockumentary.
It was a cockumentary. Like I was just rocking pussy all day long. Oh, I was killing pussy with a hair like that. So anyway, long story short, we stopped in Bankhead Forest and we would camp out there because we were too cheap for hotel rooms. And this might sound like bullshit to a lot of you, but I swear by it, dude. Like if you could see my arms right now, they're popping up into chill bumps even talking about this.
They're quite erect.
Yeah, exactly. They're erect chill bumps. But anyway, like we were sitting there in Bankhead Forest, and we hadn't even started smoking pot yet, dude. We hadn't even started drinking yet. And me and one of my buddies, his name was Jamie Hill. You can ask this shit. He lives in Memphis. You can ask this shit about Jamie Hill if you want to Facebook stalk him. We were pissing basically shoulder to shoulder, back to back. Not really sure.
Piss paling it.
Yeah, we were piss paling it, dude. We were back to back, shoulder to shoulder.
Sword fighting.
Crossing the streams like Ghostbusters. We were back to back, shoulder to shoulder pissing because you never know when some sort of like gay meth head's going to hop out and try to butt fuck you while you're pissing. And this is Bankhead Forest, and we're talking about Stankhead here.
You got to double stream them.
Yeah. And we were
want to avoid all gayness
at all costs.
By out there with your buddy with your dick in your hand, his dick in his hand, shoulder to shoulder. You don't want any gayness going on around you.
In Madagascar, if you touch tips, you're technically married. But anyway,
Docking.
Yeah,
Madagascar docking.
The Madagascar docking. That's like a wedding ring. That's when you do your vows. Anyway,
that's a real cock ring.
So we were cock ringing it up, and we were technically married in India, and anyway, like out of nowhere, and talk about like if it was a werewolf, like the whole full moon thing is bullshit. It was a half moon. And it was like putting half your butt cheek out of your pants. Werewolf. It was a half moon. Yeah, it was like a werewolf and a half.
Did he have any clothes on?
No, not at all.
So it was a washing werewolf.
Yeah, it was a nudist colony werewolf.
Naked werewolf.
I'd like to get two werewolves together and like like how Michael Vick dog fights. Like werewolf fights would be awesome. But anyway, we saw this head drift up. And
Michael Vick, the dog man?
Yeah, Michael Vick's the werewolf man, dude. Yeah. But anyway, we saw this like head pop up, and I thought it was like maybe like a Great Dane or maybe like the lead coyote of like a pack or something. And you got pissed?
Yeah, I got pissed.
Okay, he's got pissed. Okay, what was I talking? Oh yeah, dog man of Bankhead. And
there's some kind of canine approaching.
It was some sort of canith. Approaching from the biblical Canaan, and yeah, that's it. No, that's other one.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to find the shitter. Anyway, there's this. There was this like great, like it was like a dog head on this big body, and we thought maybe it was like maybe a Great Dane or maybe like a coyote or maybe like a lost wolf. I don't know if Alabama has wolves or like. there was this like tree limb sitting above this motherfucker, and when it crawled up, I swear, dude, it reached up with like human hands and like grabbed this tree branch and pulled itself up, and then looked into this like there was like a street light on this campsite, and you could see it's glowing like kind of like eyes, like a raccoon or like a stray cat would have or something like that, and then it turns away, and on 2 feet, I shit you not, on 2 feet. You hear it, it's running away like heavy. Like, doom, 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 doom. Like, it's heavy, it's on 2 feet, and it's fucking just racing. Just tearing my eardrums up. How loud this motherfucker is, going through, breaking branches and shit like that. And if anybody has any, like, information on what, like, if anybody else has seen this thing or whatever, if you have any rational explanation, I think it's the Dogman of Bankhead. It was, and no, it wasn't white. It wasn't albino at all. It was like a gray color. At least the one I saw. And, because a lot of people are seeing the same thing that's like white. If anybody has any like information, I don't care if you're a believer or a skeptic, please let me know what this thing was, because it has like haunted me for like 15 years thinking about what this motherfucker was. And that's basically my 3 stories about like why I wanted to start this podcast and talk about this weird shit, about strange shit, and also bizarre shit. Ronnie, tell us about what the fuck you've seen.
I've seen a lot of fucking weird shit as well. Probably some of the weirdest shit I've seen is when I was dating. I had this old girlfriend that dated for a couple of years, and she was into the occult. She loved witchcraft, and she told me she had practiced some dark arts here and there. And I remember we would, chill out, and we'd watch movies together. And she was staying with her mother at the time, and she'd had like a party for one of her children, and there was balloons on the floor, and we were just watching TV, and there was no fans on, no air conditioner, nothing that could have kicked on that could have moved anything in the room. And I remember the balloon started actually going around in circles. And
sorry, just pissed. What was I
witchcraft. Yeah, witchcraft. So we're sitting there watching movies, and the balloon starts going around in circles. And
that's what it was. It was it.
Probably.
It was the band Pennywise. Yeah. Not the clown. It was the band Pennywise.
They were wanting to sing Bro Hymn.
I was about to say, man, Bro Hymn.
But basically, I saw that kind of, had basically was going, oh well, it could have been the air conditioner or what have you, but at the time I was kind of brushing it off, and I got up to.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I just brush shit off. Like my dad said, if you get drunk enough, shit won't fuck with you.
I usually wipe shit off, but.
There you go. Wipe shit and drink shit off.
But I went up to get go home later, and I got back home and kind of had that weird eerie feeling. And I got up to my front porch. I live off of Highway 251 in good old Ardmore, Alabama. And
my dad went to prison, but not that Ardmore. The Ardmore down south.
And is it Atmore?
Atmore in your butt. I don't know if he got butt fucked.
So I get out of my car, and I have a bad habit of running from my car to the front porch and jumping up.
He has a bad habit of running from his car. I don't know what the deal is.
It's scary. But so I get up to my front porch
and running to your car.
Running from my car to the front door.
Oh,
kind of like jumping up to the porch.
Scared of your car? Okay.
No, but just a weird habit. But so I get off and I do the weird bunny jump up to the front porch and to the door, and I turn around and there's a street light, adjacent to the 251, and I see this weird black cat walking under the street light. And usually there's eye shine from the, anything like that. You shine a light at a cat or a dog, you get that kind of weird reddish color. And
you also get 7 years of bad luck or something.
Well, this was a black cat.
Yeah.
And I was walking under the street light, and there was red eye shine.
Oh, that's stupid.
And basically it got out from under the street light, and I watched it kind of, slink up to where it was basically right in front of me, and the eye shine never went away. And I was like,
Pet
that's
cemetery.
kind of, yeah, exactly. It was church.
Yeah, church.
And basically, I was like, well, that's kind of creepy. So I whipped around, jumped into the door, and turned around. And not a second later, that cat was just completely gone.
So it's kind of like my shapeshifter type thing.
I want to say it was whatever she was messing with at the time had been messing with. Tried to keep tabs on
So
me.
you're talking about like the girl you dated, like with
Yeah,
the whole occult thing.
whatever she had stirred up, I think follows her around and had started to notice me as well. And that's what kind of started getting me into looking into occult things and reading, and I'd always been interested in it from a young age. I always remembered going to the library to check out books about the Loch Ness Monster or like UFOs or anything like that. But a lot of ghost books. Hans Holzer.
Yeah. Alabama's bad for that. What was that? The 13 Ghosts?
13 Ghosts and
13
Jeffrey.
Ghosts, yeah.
Sad
man.
part was that actually turned out to be a hoax, supposedly.
Yeah, I heard that. You know that my wife had the author of those books come talk at that school. Like,
Oh,
she
man.
teaches it, yeah.
I would have loved to hear that though.
Sorry, that's beer. Anyway, Black Cat, you've been.
That's part one of my introduction into the unknown. Part two was around the same time all this was happening. Ghost hunters had gotten really popular, so I decided to take it upon myself to become an amateur ghost hunter. And well,
Doctor.
yeah, a pair of docker, yeah,
Doctor Strange.
docking ghosts.
Doctor Strange. I saw him check in a bathroom one time and felt like Doctor Strange.
So the stranger, but
Mr. Payday.
Sit on your hand, jerk off, you Doctor Stranger with a PhD. Anyway.
so I got online, got on the Amazons, and ordered myself a K2 meter, a ghost meter for the random caricature of having a actual ghost meter, or it was ironic at the time, and also got a couple of compasses and a digital voice
Compass.
recorder. Yeah,
We put emphasis on the
compasses.
compass.
And so
Ghost compass. You're like Kesha up in this bitch. She fucked a ghost once.
a while after that happened, I was hanging out with this band, and we had went out to this old church. I won't say where it was, but it's in the lower part of Tennessee, and very close
You just said where
to
it's wet.
very close. Well, I won't give you the exact location.
Not the latitude and
Yeah,
longitudes.
There's like a.
There's a
20
ton of
20
churches in
churches
Tennessee.
per-
Yeah, there's a church. There's a church per capita, per mile and per
Whatever
capita.
your belief is,
Yeah.
you got one.
You can't stand in a churchyard without hitting another church with a rock by standing at that church.
It's a Jesus buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good song title, by the way. But so
Crucifix.
we went out to this old church, and it was me and a bunch of dudes that were done with band practice, and I'll never forget this. We pulled up to the church, and there's a well out, a natural
I had a
spring.
whale with a black cat. Yeah, they like whales,
Well,
but they don't like getting wet. So I don't know what the deal is with that.
wet cats. I
Yeah.
like
Oh,
wet.
and the pet cemetery thing. You said church. And
Yeah.
you're at church and you're well. I see the parallels. Go ahead.
Well, that is kind of ironic, but this one's sort of a separate incident. We pulled up to the church.
Unholy water.
And the first time we'd ever gotten there, yeah, exactly, the well stopped flowing, and that's a natural well. They hardly ever do that. We had rolled down the window, and one of our friends, I may have him on here later. His name was Garen. I'll give him a shout out. He started antagonizing it, and all the power was out. There might have been a street light, way down the road. This church was from the 1800s. And we're sitting there in the middle
Got a
of
stank
an
in it.
old field, basically, with a small dirt road.
God, what kind of band practice were y'all having?
Well,
Black metal band practice.
it was a hardcore band, but
Bluegrass.
hardcore bluegrass,
Hardcore what?
Blackgrass.
blackgrass with ska, and so we were eyeing the church, and what looked like a flashlight came on in the middle of one of the windows.
Oh shit.
It was a blue orb of light, went from one side of the window to the next, and then came back to the middle of that window and shot out toward the car.
Like fast?
Yes, and it dispersed once it got outside the church.
Like into like multiple.
Yes, it
like,
was almost like ball lightning, but not quite. It was more controlled.
You think that like the occult and stuff like that had to do something?
Well, that church had supposedly burnt down and had a curse put on it. I'm not.
By who? Like just angry Confederates?
Actually, it
No,
was.
keep that flag flying. Roll Tide.
Supposedly, the church burned down, and then got hit by tornadoes.
Oh, that's double mayhem.
And
Shout out to the band Mayhem.
yeah. Oh yeah, well, maybe it was mayhem, but maybe it was Maybelline.
Maybe it was Methods of Mayhem with Tommy Lee.
But so that definitely let me know something was out there. And in the meantime, I bought all the ghost hunting equipment. So a couple months later, I decided to go check it out. So it was me and a couple of random friends. At one point, I think I went up there at least 6 times. First couple times, we got a couple of recordings that just sounded like coyotes. And the last major time I went up there, it was me and my other friend and his girlfriend. And we took the digital voice recorder and the KT meter, and we were just asking questions. Well, the KT meter just started randomly going off when we would ask questions. I would ask a question, yes or no, and it would actually respond. Normally you see that on TV and you think, well, that's fake. It's there's ways you can manipulate things to make that happen.
Some questions you ask, like, is my dick big? Like, is my ass?
Does this make does this make me look fat?
Holy shit! What's that? I just shot the flashlight at him. He just jumped.
So we have the digital voice recorder. It's going the whole time. We're asking questions. The KT meter's going off. We're walking from the church over across the road to the cemetery. And meanwhile, this is in August, late August in Alabama. Well, Tennessee technically, but southern Tennessee on the line of North Alabama. And it's freezing. We are getting cold spots. And we were standing in the cemetery asking questions, and the KT meter's going off still from one end of the spectrum to the other.
That's crazy. In cemetery, you was asking for it.
Well,
you was asking for a good old ghost raping.
The good thing was we turned around and we were looking at the church, and we actually saw a black mass go across the side of the church where we'd just been.
A black ass?
A black mass.
Oh, mass.
And
that sounds hot.
So we started getting creeped out. We left, and I was like, well, this is kind of weird, but we didn't really catch anything. On the way back, we stopped at the stop sign down the road, and I plugged in my little digital transistor sort of, what do you call those?
Speak English, scientist.
It's a transducer. In other words, you can it's a device you can plug into your phone or digital voice recorder, anything with an input on it, and run it through the Bluetooth speakers. So I plug it in, and we're driving home, and we're listening to all these stupid little questions we're asking, and we get very distinct answers, very demonic sounding voices, and they're answering direct questions that we were asking.
That's crazy, dude.
And knowing that the church supposedly burnt down, the voice that we got actually sounded like it was actually asphyxiating, very raspy, very.
Oh God, dude.
And I remember one point we had asked, "Do you want us here?" And of course, you get the standard "leave" like that.
Leave, yeah.
I'll never forget the voices we got on those EVPs, and from that point on, for at least a good 6 months after that, kind of had that weird feeling of being watched.
Yeah,
and,
like you invited something into your life.
Exactly,
especially in the shower.
Especially with binoculars.
Well, I remember
the ultra black metal binoculars.
The feeling had gotten so bad that I actually deleted the EVPs. I had the EVPs up on YouTube at one point, and it just really got out of hand. Like there was a demonic name that kept popping up after that I didn't think much of at the time. I'd seen it on a couple of TV shows, and I've been researching demonology and trying to see like what I thought this could be that we had contacted in the church. And, you know, there was ranging ideas from it could have been a demon to like just a ghost to somebody that may have burnt down in the church if it has burnt down.
Yeah.
One thing that I found was actually more of a protecting elemental spirit. I think it was
Like a pagan type thing.
yeah, it was basically, and it looked like your typical unknown phantom costume from Kmart. You know, it was the black hooded figure
Like
with
the
red
shadow,
eyes.
yeah, like the shadow.
A very huge
Yeah,
shadow
we're actually
figure.
going to have like a guest on the show later on that has had a lot of experience with shadow people.
We had actually, well, speaking of that, after I'd looked that up, that's when the name started coming up, and I noticed that name at least 3 to 4 times, and it's come up in newspapers. There was a band that had the same name as that demonic name that kept popping up. In fact, some people that I known from work, I used to work at Walmart, had come up to me a couple of months after that, wanting my help because they knew I did ghost hunting.
Yeah. Just don't say it here. I don't want to get my house
Oh
haunted.
no, I'm not gonna say it. But
Yeah.
I don't want.
Now, if you want to hear the name, though, contact us on our Facebook page. We're about to have a Facebook page after we get off the show with this. I'm sure Ronnie's going to make it.
And well, okay. So
Ask your queer queries.
the name kept popping
And queer
up.
means strange.
So the name keeps popping up, and I really hadn't told anybody other than maybe one or two people. Nobody that would have talked to the other people that would come up to me, and these people have been messing with Ouija boards.
Oh, God.
And no
Milton
joke,
Bradley's
I had-
bitch.
I had 3 different. The reason I stopped ghost hunting as much is because I had 3 different people after that come up to me in Walmart, telling me they were having issues in their house.
And they knew
After
How'd
playing
they
with
know?
Ouija boards,
They just knew you.
people. Well, yeah, they knew I liked ghost stuff, and
So
they
they
were
knew
like-
that you had the sand full of sack.
they wanted me to bring
Or the
my
sack full of
equipment
sand.
and try to talk to it, basically. And
Oh, God. Paranormal
They heard
activity.
they heard the same name. Though?
they heard the same name off that Ouija board, not once but twice.
Oh,
and
man.
then,
The Ouija boards are fucked up, dude.
Well, that's what makes me think something that I ran into at that graveyard may
You
or
know
may
what,
not
like,
have
the
been
most
connected to
fucked
that.
up thing about Ouija boards is? It starts with an O. I don't know if you know about Ouija boards. They start with an O. Anyway, continue with the tale.
So that's actually
The
close.
W is silent.
That's actually very close to the end of it. I haven't really been back out there to that church since. It's one of those things that I don't think I could ever go back and try to, basically fuck with whatever's out there again.
Yeah, don't fuck with it, dude. I'm a firm believer. And I'm kind of a skeptic when it comes to this shit, but I'm a firm believer that, you've heard the saying. We've all heard the saying that speak of the devil and he will appear. I think that's true, man. I think if you invite that shit into your life, you will have it in your life.
I mean, even if you don't believe in so much the devil or demons, even if you just believe they are negative entities that are in some other plane,
Or even if you believe they're like extraterrestrial type shit that don't even mean to be here.
Well, some people think that all of it's tied together, but that's a whole other podcast. But you got to think if one sees you, if there's another plane that we can't see, and they're breaking
We've
through.
only seen 3 dimensions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
if they're
there's
existing in
crap going
4
on.
or
What's
5.
the 3 dimensions? Up, down, left, and right.
Yeah,
Right? So we're basically playing Mario. Here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're playing like PlayStation 5 and we're playing Nintendo.
We see, taste, hear,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
But
it.
there's
You got your 6 senses, and a lot of people think there's a 7th sense, which is going to be another podcast at one point in time too, about we're going to have a few psychics on here, people that claim to be psychics, and we're going to see if the shit's real.
just think about animals. They don't have the same color palette as us.
Mhm.
So what does a higher being have that we can't even?
Well, they already say that dogs can detect that shit. Like if you have a dog that's just barking, and just randomly, even though my dipshits over here are barking. You probably heard them the podcast. That's my dipshit dogs over here barking. But they're barking at each other, by the way. God, I hope they're not barking at a ghost. Because to me, this is just me getting drunk and ranting here. Being a ghost is a bitch move. And I'll explain why. because you're a bitch. and because you're all invisible and you're just moving shit because you're pissed and shit like that. At least if I get killed by a werewolf, I'm going to be dying going, I'm getting killed by a werewolf. You know, if you're moving shit around my house, you know what? I'm starting a hate group. And it's not the Klan, it's not the Black Panthers, it's not ISIS, it's not none of that shit. Get out of my house. You know what I mean? And we got a special guest here, Josh from Algar. We forgot to introduce. This was going to be a second podcast, but we're going to do it as a number one podcast special guest here. Tell us about your shit, Josh.
Fuck it, this is a... Oh, fuck. We just,
It's okay.
That was a ghost.
That was me. that was the dick.
We just spilt a beer, so...
On the laptop.
We didn't spill beer.
Yeah, I did. That's
that was the ghost bitch. He's a Sonic Youth fan.
Oh, yeah, you've pissed it off now. That's what it's trying to ruin your laptop.
Yeah.
Okay, so Josh Smith, A Negative. Welcome to the show, even though you've been chiming in.
Hello.
Hi. You might remember Josh. He's from the band Algar. You might remember Algar from back in the day. He played guitar and, like I said, beer, bands, and the beyond. So what would it be? We've got the beer. We've got the beyond. What would it be on the bands? Tell us about it, Josh.
Let's see, where do I start? I got a Ouija board story.
Go with the Ouija board. I just mentioned Ouija boards.
Alright, well, for a while I wasn't really enamored with them. I was just wondering what the folklore.
I'm cleaning up beer with my sick dick mask, by the way.
Etc. Well, that's good for the
Is this a butt scratcher?
It's a back scratcher. It's a butt scratcher. Whatever scratch you need scratched.
Whatever itch you need.
Yeah.
Ball scratcher.
It's a ball scratcher.
Cock scratcher.
It was for free at a bank. Cut me a fucking break.
You didn't do that in the bank, did you?
I did.
Just shoving it down your fan. Oh, that's great.
I actually had
Yeah.
Anyway, you got a Ouija board story, which I say Ouija. I meant a woo because there's no W in it.
Oh, true. Well, I learned through, I don't remember where I learned it, but they're supposedly supposed to not work unless they're a gift, which I told my sister about, and she knew I was interested in them, so she found me this old 60s Ouija board.
Ooh,
And
season of love.
got to one night, I guess it was probably about 3 months later, after I got this Ouija board. I completely forgot about it. I just put it in the closet, and I had a night terror, I woke up with sleep paralysis.
Old hag syndrome.
Yeah,
All I could
old
do was-
hag sitting right on your chest, shitting.
Well, I could
They
see,
mentioned that in the medieval tales.
I could open, like I couldn't move my eyes. That was the weird thing. I could see this. I could open my eyes. I could see the ceiling, but I couldn't turn my head. Couldn't turn my eyes. I couldn't look to my left, which I could feel something standing beside of me.
Were they shitting in your mouth?
Turn around every
What?
now and then
How
you
would
get
it
a
be-
little bit dip
How
of a
would it be
ghost
to my
dick
left
in
shitting in my mouth? Like, how is that going to work?
Turn around
Yeah.
every now and then you get a ghost dick dipped in your mouth when you got sleep paralysis. Turn around. Wide eyes, which also racist. They say white eyes or white eyes? I don't know. Google the lyrics. Anyway, continue.
So, yeah, this goes on for about 20 minutes, and I finally regain control of my body, and I get up, and like, well, that was unpleasurable. I don't know what that was all about. So,
Is Bill Cosby dead? Because if he's not, if he is, I mean that's probably what
No,
it
he's
was.
still alive as of right now.
He telekinetically roofied you. Anyway,
but yeah, that's pretty much the end of the story. And I remembered I had that stupid Ouija board in my closet. I was like, I don't think I'm going to get that out of the house. But through the years, I had talked about Ouija boards so much that I ended up with 5 of them as gifts. And so there's like,
you got a problem, dude.
You got a ghost bukkake.
Exactly.
so, well, you're not
You just
supposed
got
to
a dealer,
destroy-
dude. You got like a ghost dealer. It's like a drug dealer, but like shittier.
Well, you can't throw them away. You can't burn them. You can't. So I just put them all in the garage, and now in the back of the garage, there's a light over it, and that light will not stop flickering. So,
Like a regular like fluorescent bulb type light.
I wonder what would happen if you lined them all up at once and tried to just like have like a huge, like record-breaking seance.
we like put them all together and just put the planchette like right in the middle and just go wherever it wants.
I wonder what would happen instead of
Yeah.
using your hand, you use
You
your
like,
dick
you got a
on
Ouija
the phone.
board, like Ouija board DJ. Just
You know what I've always heard? You know what I've always wanted to try actually is challenge a Ouija board to a spelling bee. Because that's all they do is spell. You would probably lose, like for real. Like if I contacted like who's someone shitty? If I contacted like Hitler or Tupac, right now I guarantee you they'd beat me in a spelling bee.
You try to contact maybe like I don't know. Maybe what about Kobe? Didn't he just pass away?
Yeah, he died. Yeah, he died in a helicopter crash. You might ask him how to fly a helicopter. That would be the first question. And this is gonna land me in probably podcast jail. But side question: I wonder if like the helicopter pilot, when he flew the helicopter into the ground, if before he hit he yelled "Kobe,"
Oh no!
he sunk it, dude. Anyway, go ahead.
What the hell are you eating?
I'm not eating anything. I'm chewing gum.
Oh,
Anyway,
no, it's still technically eating.
What about the Ouija?
Well, that's the end of the Ouija stories.
So you flickered your light on and off.
It took 5 of them to do so, but
Oh, it's after me a blackjack, dude. I haven't had one of these in forever.
Okay.
It's gonna freshen up my beer breath like a motherfucker. Anyway. Oh god, it's awful. Anyway. Oh god, it's terrible. Oh, it's licorice. God, you're a dick. Anyway,
you took it of your own free will.
I didn't smell it first. It's not my own fruit.
You always smell what you put in your mouth first.
You got to, man. It's skin flavored. But anyway,
Actually, I can't do it.
oh god, it's awful.
Sorry.
I'm gonna chew it till the flavor's gone. Then I'm gonna flush it.
Ooh.
I'm gonna blow a bubble and I'm gonna slap it in your stupid mouth. Anyway, you got the Matrix story, man. That's interesting as shit, dude.
Well, I did see a shadow person when I was 7, but I didn't know there was any kind of term for it.
What do you think it was, man? Like, I've got my own theories about shadow people.
I have no idea. It was in my dad's. I saw it go in my dad's barn.
Now the door broke, so you're having to like lift
It was
up.
kind of like creeping around. We saw it look back at us, and it went in the barn. And then me and my cousins ran in trying to find it because we were all freaked out. And,
What do you think made it? Like, do you think you like summoned it somehow, or it was just out there?
I mean, we were just, I was like 7, so I wasn't really into.
So it was just out there then.
Yeah, I was just roaming around. Now my granny has some stories, but or I got some stories about my granny, I should say.
Yeah, tell them.
But I can't do this story justice. But where you go? I can't really do this story justice, but it was my grandmother was an ordained minister and everything. She would actually marry people and whatnot. She had revivals. So I guess when she did this, she was doing this. She thought it was the right thing to do. Anyway, the story starts off. I completely forgot about this story.
What'd she do? Like, just being a woman minister? Because this is Church of Christ country around here. And
I can't.
so we don't believe in that stuff.
Oh.
Wait. We don't believe in music either, so Ronnie, fuck off.
I'm trying to remember how this is the creep. I'll get to at the end. You'll see why all this was going on. But
So you don't think it was summoned?
well, this happened in like '67.
Oh, God. That's like decades before I was a sperm.
Yeah, me too. But anyway. Really, my mom was a twin,
Oh, God.
and they got a call that her twin sister had been in a car wreck and she was at the hospital. They don't know who called them.
And this
I
was
don't
in
know
the
where
60s.
Yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, so naturally they start on their way to the hospital. Halfway there, they got to get gas, so they stop at this gas station, which is right next to a junkyard. Mom goes in, pays for the gas, comes out, fuels up, and they leave. And Granny was stayed outside in the car the whole time. Anyway, they start on the hospital. It starts getting dark. Well, they said both of them said this feeling came over them, And
Like in
They
the
were-
parking lot?
no, this was when they after they left the gas station, they were on their way to the hospital, and Mom said that they just got this heavy feeling came over the car, like there was something with them. And Mom, they were both silent. Mom looked at Granny and she's like, "Lock your doors." And they locked their doors.
God, in there with it.
Well, they got okay. They get about a mile down the road and they're both completely silent. My brother's in the back seat asleep, and she's like, "Mom, what did you think when back there when I told you to lock your door?" She said, I thought it was too late. It's already in here with us."
Man,
And-
what you think was in there? Like the shadow dude?
Well, no, the shadow person doesn't have anything to do with it. But
Oh, this was like later.
this reminds me of what might have happened.
So it's just intuition.
Well, the story here was we're not at the end, but anyway, so they get to the hospital. My aunt was never in a wreck. They don't know who called them. Don't know why that happened. That's the other eerie part. But then, okay, that's when they go home. That's where that part of the story stops. The next day, Mom's out there cleaning out the car, and she looks in the glove compartment and she finds this little napkin, and she unravels it and it's got bones in it.
KFC.
Exactly.
I'm just fucking with you,
The
dude.
haunted chicken bone.
Yeah, the hiding that low cholesterol diet that he's supposed to be on.
The haunted cock bones.
So Mom
Papa
was like,
Shango.
Mom's like, what are these? They look burnt. So she goes in and okay, slapping each other with
The butt scratcher, man.
dick tickler.
Oh, I didn't do it. Okay.
Anyway, she goes in to ask Granny about it, and Granny's like, "Oh, those were the bones I found in the car next door. In that
Yeah.
junk
Like
car."
in the oh yeah, yeah. In
And
the
it turns
junkyard.
out there was this college student that had burned up in this wreck.
No way, dude.
And she had heard about it on the news and saw it in there, and she looked in there and saw the bone fragments. And
Dude,
she
Stephen
wanted-
King's gonna be listening to this podcast and be like, "Fuck, why didn't I write this story?"
Well, that's when she got him in a napkin. She was going to bury him because she didn't want to leave him in that car.
So
like
she
that.
thought she was like pure dude bones. Oh my god.
So those were in the car while all that shit was happening.
You didn't see it. He just nodded like a big fucking yes.
And my brother, who was in the back seat, said this is his recollection of it. He didn't remember any of that, but he had a dream. There was a scary goat.
Like
chasing
Freddy
him.
Cooter in the back of the trunk when he like sliced that dude open. Oh man.
A scary goat praying. That's the way he summarized his dream.
A scary goat?
Kind of like Baphomet.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Baphomet.
like the Baphomet, yeah.
But he didn't. Of course, I think he was like 3 or 4.
Oh, that's metal as fuck, dude. That's black metal as fuck.
So that's my grandmother used to live behind us, and that's what made me think of what could have possibly caused the shadow person. Or
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you got burned up in a car, dude, I'd be pissed. Like I would come back if I got burned up in a car. Because like a lot of people don't know this. On the podcast, I'm going to say this straight out. That there's a lot of like Hispanic gangbangers around here, and that's one of the main ways they dispose of bodies. Is what I hear. Is what they do is they throw the body in the trunk of like a stolen car, and they'll throw a bunch of tires back there, and they'll set the tires on fire, and nothing will be left but like teeth. And from what I understand of like Catholic folklore, like if there's anybody out there listening and they're like followers of like what's it called? It's the Lady Death, the the Santa Magre or whatever they're called, the Saint of Death. They are big believers in like bones. They'll like have bones and they'll like do rituals with them and stuff. So that's crazy, dude.
anyway, I guess she thought she was doing right, but then that stirred all that up. So
Yeah, you can stir shit up, man. I believe. What do you think, Ronnie? You think you can stir shit up? You think you can piss shit off?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you fuck with anything the right way, you'll get some really bad results.
You think it's like the what's that? The crocodile hunter. He stuck his thumb. You think you stick your thumb up a crocodile's ass, it's gonna bite you. And like he was bad about that, and eventually he got stingrayed into death. So
That was so bizarre though. Like
so bizarre, dude.
Stingray, man.
yeah, stingray. You think he gets
Of
good
all
fucking
things.
head bit off by a crocodile?
It literally flapped onto the deck and stung him directly into the heart.
Crocodile.
Man, it was
Yeah. So like I think like what we're dealing with, what we're talking about here on this inaugural bust the fucking champagne bottle over the ship inaugural episode of Beers, Bands, and Beyond. I think what we've cracked the seal on is that we're unanimously decided on that you can like any force of nature, you can fuck with it to the point where it will bite back.
yeah. All right.
Is that the end?
No, the glitch in Matrix.
Yeah, my most unexplainable, weirdest, bizarre, whatchamacallit.
It's not the end. This is the beginning. This is the first episode.
This is the beginning of the end of the beginning.
Yeah, it's the end of the
The
beginning.
Nine Inch Nails song. Yeah.
After this episode, it will be the end of the beginning.
Yeah.
Nothing shop! Woo! Ric Flair. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so I was on my way to class one morning when I was in college. I think it was English Lit. That's not really important.
I think I'm stepping in my dog's piss. That's what you're hearing back here. Is like, I think I'm stepping in my dog's dried piss.
Why is it sticky?
Because I didn't clean it up.
Oh,
Anyway,
I meant the makeup of it, but all right.
English Lit. I feed them too much, dude. They're fat fuckers. Look at them looking at me. They're just looking at me. Just let me know. You're fucking talking about shit, aren't you?
You're stepping in my pee and
You're
you love it.
stepping in my piss, and I love it. Anyway, English Lit, go for it.
Okay, so it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I had class at 9:15. I'm strolling along the highway there, and it's been raining for probably about the last 45 minutes. So it's just enough to get the
Hey, you two
road,
shut the
like-
fuck up. Not you. Don't shut the fuck up. You two shut the fuck up. Anyway, that's my sewer rats barking. Sewer rats.
it's just enough to stir up the old oil on the pavement and get everything nice and slick.
That's what
So-
she said.
That's what he said.
So anyway, I'm about
Hey, all y'all shut the fuck up. Okay, anyway.
I'm about 200 yards from where I'm supposed to turn. So I'm about, two cars lengths behind the car in front of me. We're going about 45, and all of a sudden they slam on their brakes. Well, I slam on mine, and I start hydroplaning. And it was like in a split second. I
Ooh,
closed.
so it's wet.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
was
this
gonna,
story got sexy. Sexy and wet.
It's like a slip and
Oh,
slide
ooh, you were slipping and sliding all up in that fucking
in your
road.
pants.
You sliding in the road's ass. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, well,
I'm engaged. Go for it. I'm engaged in the story, not engaged. In
I'm single, so
I was gonna say I didn't know you were serious about that thing earlier. But
I do my own vows. We'll cock ring it up like we were talking about earlier.
doggering it.
Dock ring. Engagement cock ring
okay, so the split
in
second.
your face. Anyway. Listen to
Thing that
this.
happens-
Before you start the story, listen to this. This is beer. Oh, that was beer. That wasn't even champagne, bitch. Anyway, go ahead.
$2 at Aldi. So
It's a celebration, bitch.
Yep.
I'm gonna just suck my boy over here, Josh's dick, bitch. That would be you, Ronnie. Anyway, go for it.
okay,
All right, it was in your college inauguration
so
or graduation. I don't know. I'm drunk.
I'm going 45, and I'm not stopping. I'm hydroplaning, so I'm bracing for impact. It's inevitable. I close my eyes. Now keep in mind, I'm about 200 yards from where I'm supposed to turn in when all this happens. I hit the brakes, close my eyes. I open my eyes because I was bracing for impact when I closed them. Open my eyes, and I'm in the median where I'm supposed to turn 200 yards up, exactly where I was supposed to be. And I have no idea what happened.
So like you completely like missed that whole wreck.
Yeah, so I'm like back here,
Dude, that's fucked up, dude.
close my eyes, about to hit this car, and then all of a sudden I'm up here, and the car is shifted, pointing this way. So, and I felt none of that. It was just instantaneous.
So you think it was like a glitch in the Matrix type thing?
Something happened. Maybe y'all have him on here at some point. But Adam was in that same class.
Dude.
And I got in there, and after class, he's like, "Man, are you okay? You hadn't said anything." I was like, "No, I'm not."
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that guy that he was traveling from Cuba, I believe, to Miami in the Bermuda Triangle, and he allegedly went through like this cloud, and like an hour off of his, he come out of the cloud, like it was like 5 minutes later, and he come out of the cloud and he was already in Miami. It like shaved like an hour off of his like commute time. That's fucked up, dude. I've heard of stuff like that though, like the whole glitch in the Matrix. Like somebody gets bored of playing our human Sims and just decides to fuck with us, or slaps the back of their hot damn alien, I'm assuming Nintendo 64s, and like it just jumps, and then all of a sudden, we survive some sort of hot damn, the turtles coming at us that makes us shrink down and die off screen.
Yeah.
He usually traps us in the swimming pool and takes away all the ladders.
Yeah, there you go. We go down the wrong pipe in Mario. That's what happens. Do 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 do. Then all of a sudden we're dead. That's fucking crazy, dude.
And there's been several members of my family that's had that happen to them. My brother did the same thing. He was coming back from Chattanooga. And if you ever came back from Chattanooga, you know that you got to go through Scottsboro and all that. And there's plenty of stoplights. There's plenty of businesses.
Oh, yeah.
So he was in South Pittsburgh. He's going along. It's about 3 a.m. because he was going back to check the answering machine at the house. This was in the early 80s. Anyway,
It's 3 a.m. in my bed all day.
he's by himself. 3 a.m.
I must be lonely.
No cars in sight. Bam! He's right there in Gurley.
Dude.
Like he said, he just
Like
blinked
some
and
beam me up type
He's
shit.
just like, there's cars all around me. What? Like,
Do you think that might have been like maybe he blacked out and maybe woke up or
Well,
something?
he was trying
Like what's it called?
road hypnosis.
Yeah, road hypnosis.
Well, see, he was trying to but I mean, there's a bunch of stoplights and stuff. Like, you would have to.
Maybe he blazed through them. Just hitting dudes, just right, left. There, no
Sounds like
He just Clark Griswold it.
like Talladega Nights. If you went first, you last.
He just gunned it and fell asleep. Like, oh shit! This is what
I got a half-pound of Colombian Bam Bam under the car.
I wonder if he or did he? How long did it take him to get from one to the other? Like,
I mean,
Do you think did he go through a cloud or something?
from what I understand, he just nothing else was up. He was just here, and then he was here.
So he went through like a wormhole type situation.
Yeah, he just was just.
Dude, that's fucked up, man. Because hypothetically, that's true. That can happen. Like allegedly, like all these little wormholes work. Like they work up in like microscopic, and then they open up all of a sudden, and then they close. Dude, that's crazy.
I mean, it's girly, so there you go.
Yeah, he might have been on meth. He might have drove through a cloud of girly meth.
Cloud of meth.
A cloud of girly meth. That shit'll speed everything up, man. But anyway, any other stories you want to tell us?
Not that I can think of at the moment, but maybe there'll be a part 2 at some point.
Yeah, oh yeah. All right, motherfuckers. This is Sick Dick Cox. We got Josh Smith from Algar. We got Ronnie Ramone right across the fucking table from me making weird eye contact as we speak. This has been Beer, Bands, and the Beyond. Thank you for joining us for our first episode. Motherfuckers, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Eat a dick.
Or 5. Bye.